Do you want some? More? More?
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode where I'm going to talk to you again about plant-based food. And in an attempt to pretend like I know what I'm doing, I've lined up all the ingredients here to a plant-based curry. So we've got some more obvious ingredients like basmati rice, which I then mix with some quinoa, both dried ingredients, and some clay oven-baked naan breads, which basically I bought from Morrison's. And then we have my curry sauce of choice this week is a Patak's brand jalfrezi, which is one of the few curry sauces off the shelf which doesn't contain milk. The other two things you're going to need is a pepper. I've chosen a red pepper. It doesn't matter which color, choose whatever. And then a can of my favorite chickpeas. These are cooked chickpeas. I think in the States they call them garbanzo beans. But yeah, they're in salted water, which you can just drain off.
Are you having dinner? What did you have? Rice? Rice?
And because the jalfrezi sauce is quite spicy, it's unfortunately not a dish that Arthur can eat with us, so he had something else. But one day, I hope he will eat the dish with us. I've just got to gradually keep trying on little bits. And he does love a good naan bread. So although basmati rice is actually quote-unquote one of the better rices for you because of the fibre content, I try and increase the nutritional value of my meal by adding some quinoa. And you know me, I kind of eyeball this, but it's probably about 25% of whatever the rice weight is, I add in quinoa. And what I do now is I add some oil to the pan to basically fry off the peppers. There's some debate over whether you should fry with oil or whether you should use water or just a non-stick pan. But I do use a bit of olive oil, probably wasted the extra virgin olive oil, but that's what I had in the cupboard. And now I'm just roughly cutting up my pepper in fairly large chunks, and to be honest, peppers are included in almost every meal I make. And yes, I am wearing jogging bottoms and a vest. And I add the boiling water to the mixture of basmati rice and quinoa. And now there's several ways you can cook good rice. My mum would always use the double the ratio of water to rice. But I picked a tip up from one of the TV chefs, and it was to cover the rice, however much you have, with half a thumb's worth of boiling water. Stir it, put it on full power, cover, bring to boil, and then turn it down. So that's what I do, and generally it works. You don't touch it, don't lift it, just when the water's all gone, your rice is done. As you can see, I'm throwing in the roughly chopped red peppers to the hot oil, and I think I actually had the oil on too high here because it's spitting everywhere. But what I'm trying to do is soften the peppers and brown them off a little bit. It gives them a bit more of a flavour, I think, and enhances the flavour of the curry sauce. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm not burning the peppers at all. And keeping an eye on your rice, when it is boiling, turn it down from full power to somewhere where it's simmering. For me, that's a 4. I have no idea what that is in gas because I haven't used that in a while. But like a low to medium heat, just so it's bubbling away. Remember, don't take the lid off. And when your peppers are sufficiently soft, you want to get ready to add your chickpeas. So first you want to drain them. And I cane chickpeas, but I buy these ring pull ones from Aldi. But you know what? It winds me up when I snap that ring pull off. So top tip is, use a little teaspoon if you can't get it up or you've got short nails and lever it up. That will usually save you from breaking it off and also from breaking your hands. Now I have read in Frugal Vegan Monthly that you can reuse the water that chickpeas come in to make some sort of substitute egg white like meringues, but I don't know if there's just some sort of myth or wind up. Just someone let me know if they've done it and whether it's worthwhile. As all things are going to plan, I prepare the oven for the naan breads by setting it to 190 to preheat for a few minutes. And just like the curry sauce, I buy these naan breads specifically because they don't contain any dairy. Now in the instructions for these naan breads, it directs you to moisten them with a sprinkle of water. So as you can see, I'm moistening them with a sprinkle of water.
Will that shop or sell coriander?
At this point I realised I didn't have any coriander, so I text my neighbour Billy, who always has everything.
Hey mate.
How you doing,
How
mate?
you doing?
Are you in the video now?
Yeah, mate, put you in the video. Thanks mate.
It's not what you think.
Cheers mate.
And although it's not as quite ideal as using fresh herbs, beggars can't be choosers, and it's actually quite a good way to save fresh herbs by bunging them in bags and putting them in the freezer like this.
Arthur James, are you having some dessert? What are you having? What
Blueberry?
is it? What have you dropped?
Drop the spoon.
You want a spoon? Where's your spoon? What are you eating?
Your favourite.
Oh, blueberries? Is that nice? Arthur, is that nice? Yeah, good.
So when you think your peppers are sufficiently browned and softened in the pan, it's time to introduce the chickpeas. So remember, these are canned cooked chickpeas, so they won't need cooking. You just got to heat them through in the pan. I'm probably going to get a bit of stick from using a curry sauce here, because there are stuffy sticklers out there will be like, you can make your own. Well, yeah, of course you can make your own, but it's much harder, and generally all these sauces are quite authentic in terms of the list of ingredients, so why not cut the preparation down by at least half, or probably more, by just using a jar? And they're inexpensive, and like I say with all things, if you turn it over and read the ingredients, there's no nasties in here. I can actually pronounce everything that's in it. I mean, it's got all the typical ingredients you might find in a curry, like ginger and cumin seeds. And once you've stirred all the sauce in evenly, turn the heat down to a low simmer. And at this point I add one of my secret ingredients. Again, it's an optional ingredient, so not required, but it does add another depth of flavour to the dish. And it's mango chutney by Geeta, her premium mango chutney. There's Geeta. I'm not sure what she's like as a person, but she makes fantastic mango chutney. And again, if you pause on the list of ingredients on Geeta's chutney, it's pretty wholesome, there's some decent stuff in there. And I add 1 heaped teaspoon to the sauce because it adds some extra authentic flavour. And throughout the cooking process, I have been keeping a close eye on the rice and quinoa to make sure it doesn't overcook. At this point, I think all the water is gone, so I've taken the lid off and I check using a spoon. And as you can see, it is all cooked. So what I'll do is remove it from the heat and use a fork to separate out the grains. And I don't know about you, but I'm a stickler for warm plates when I dish up, so I put some plates in the microwave to warm them up, forgetting that I could have used the oven that I'd already preheated for my pre-sprinkled naan breads. And one of the final things I add to the dish is some fresh cherry tomatoes that I cut in half and then add to the curry sauce, and I let them simmer and soften whilst the naan breads are cooking, which is about 3 or 4 minutes depending on what naan breads you are using. They really don't take that much cooking. And the very final ingredient I like to add is fresh coriander, which I dice and add to the curry sauce as it's simmering in the final few moments. And as you already know, I didn't have any in the house at this point, so I used my frozen fresh coriander borrowed from Billy next door. Shout out to Billy and his family.
He's already chopped it as well, what a legend. Oh, that smells banging. Oh shit. Turn this off. Made them a bit crispy now. Right. I think. Yeah, bakey goodness. Tidy up a bit. It should. Ooh, hot. Be nice and fluffy.
And as I previously mentioned, I use a fork here to separate out the grains of rice because the lid has been on and the steam does make them stick together a little bit. But once you do that, you get nice fluffy grains of rice. There you go. Nice fluffy grains of rice.
That should have been off a long time ago, but anyway, that's probably overcooked now. Letting those tomatoes just basically get a little bit softer. Not really cooking them, just making them a bit softer. Anyway, the rice is done. It's really hot. Oh!
And once I've dished up, I take the naan breads out the oven, and this is where I get really lazy. I take a pair of scissors to them and cut it up into little pieces and then leave it on the tray, bring it to the table, and then we just eat straight from the tray. And that's all for this video, guys. What you've got is another recipe for an easy plant-based meal, this time a curry, done within 30 minutes using basic wholesome ingredients. I like to wash it back with one of these alcohol-free beers and of course a little bit more of Geeta's premium mango chutney. And if you liked the video, guys, consider giving it a like, and if you didn't, come back next time. I've got plenty of these type of videos in the pipeline. But for now, stay happy and healthy. See you next time.